News broke just minutes ago.
They loved his energy, they loved his outlook, they loved his perspective. People loved everything about what he would bring to this particular job. They sat down, and from the time they sat down with him, they were enamored with the energy, the spunk, the intelligence that he would bring to that job.
What kept coming back time and time again was how great of a candidate that Coach Sala was. And so when we talk about our criteria and what we were looking for in a coach, he checked all those boxes. The integrity, the passion, the ability to do that.
As we're sitting here now, we have a lot of opportunity in front of us. 21 picks in the next 2 drafts, including 10 in the first 3 rounds. But with that opportunity, we know we have to make the most.
The New York Jets select Darrell Revis, quarterback.
Quinnen Williams, nose tackle, Alabama.
The New York Jets select Mekhi Becton, tackle, Louisville.
Marcus May, defensive back, Florida. Marcus May, defensive back, Florida.
No, I agree with that. Just before we skip off guards, like, for me, there is one there. Like, I really hope you're right. Cameron Clark at starting left guard. I knew you were going to put it in. I'm a big fan, but obviously last year we didn't see him. I mean, I'm not even sure he's seen him. But all of his numbers out of college were brilliant. I mean, I thought we had an absolute diamond when we drafted him. I can remember like having a chat with Fraser on the chat that we were so happy that we got him when we'd lost out on Kush.
Yeah.
And then we haven't seen anything. So to put him in, obviously, ahead of Feeney and Lewis, I don't know whether it's a stretch because I do believe he can do it. What about you guys? Because
I think we all obviously want Clark to be the man. We all want it, and we're all still hoping. But I think the uncertainty there, and not really knowing what's going on there, I'd probably agree. I'd probably say Lewis, as it stands, is probably the starter there. However, I'm not entirely sure Lewis will even be on the roster still after much longer after the draft. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen in the draft, but I'm going to guess that there's going to be a centre/guard took, at least one that's probably going to start. Depending on how the draft falls, there may be even 2 might go in the first 5 picks. And as I said, the draft's absolutely stacked for O-linemen this year. So it's going to be something interesting to watch. I mean, I think if we were to get rid of Lewis, if Clark was healthy and fine to go, then you're saving another 10 million or whatever it is again, which makes sense. But as it stands right now, I'd probably agree. I'd probably say the uncertainty around Clark for us as fans, I'd say Lewis is probably the starter there for now. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
I think
there's definitely a Jets fan thing going there because we are very much heart over head.
So I'm gonna defend myself a little bit here, boys. So I agree. I was disappointed not to see him last year. However, to go from playing left tackle for 3 solid years in college and not playing another position to go to left guard probably isn't the easiest transition in the world. A lot of players end up playing both. He was good enough at North Carolina, I think it was, that he didn't have to play both. He was a left tackle. So essentially he was learning an entirely new position. And the reason that I put him in there is that I'm saying he's had a year to learn a new position and he's nailed it. Lewis, I think, is probably the slightly better pass blocker of the two, even though he was a tackle. However, the reason that he's starting for me is that you've got Mount Becton on his left, who the Jets love to run behind. And if you go back now and watch the tape on Clark coming out, he was an absolute monster in the run game. He flattened people for fun, like Becton flattens people. And I think if you paired them two on the left-hand side and said, okay, we know the pass blocking is going to take a bit of development, but he can move men like Becton can, you've all of a sudden got a left side that if you've got Davis that side as well, you could be seeing runs go to the house off Tevin Coleman, off P. Ryan, off Johnson, just purely because they can't block when they're on the floor.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about this game.
I think and we'll talk about it when we come to the draft, if it falls the way I'm hoping and thinking it may, I think the left guard spot will be a starting spot for someone out of the draft this year. And to me, I'll speak about it in the draft. I won't mention him now. I'll keep that. It's not a surprise because I've spoken about him before. But I think there's one man that they would love to pair beside Becton that would just absolutely dominate in the run game at that side. So, but we'll speak about that when it comes to the draft. So
yeah,
I'm
I think
still
we're all
unsure
in
on that
agreement,
left guard
though.
side.
Like left tackles are set. I mean, there is tiny little niggles of being a Jets fan of will we get a second year drop off? But I think even with a drop off, Becton's the man. He's going to stay there. I'm fine with McDermott at second. Right tackle. Now, I know I've had the conversation with most of you before. I think Fant's level, sound.
Yeah.
I mean, could you get better? Absolutely. Is he better than others? Absolutely. I mean, I'm not in any rush to replace him.
Game.
Yeah, how agile he is going to make a massive difference to his game this year, I think.
Yeah, the agility on the zone run will be massive, won't it?
Yeah.
So
I think we need an interior. I think I'm more than happy to stick with Fant next year. You know what I mean? I think the guard spots are the big issue there. I don't think Fant was bad last year when he played. I thought he done what he needed to do. But everyone's going to come off that left side anyway, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, definitely stick with Fant there, 100%.
Yeah. I think we're all in agreement on that one. I think he's
still quite young as well. Is he not quite young still?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the age off the top, but yeah, I'm pretty sure. Now, going on to the next bit, I'm going to go to Kane to talk the next position, because we all know that he's got a semi little crush on a certain draftee. But what about tight end, Kane? What are you thinking?
I mean, we're going to draft picks at 2, innit? No. I think I'm going to do better this year with the fast-paced system. Will we replace him? I don't know.
I put Herndon as a lock to start. Part of it was due to the fact that the end of the season last year, he started to produce again like he did as a rookie, which was really encouraging. But the biggest reason was that he's on a rookie contract, and we know how cheap they are, and we know how cheap at the tight end position is in general. So I don't see us necessarily rushing to replace a rookie. Well, sorry, not a rookie, a tight end that's on a rookie deal. If there isn't someone that we know is instantly going to be better. And I think his upside is still massive.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at that, and I know there's a lot of Jets fans out there who really rate Griffin.
Yeah.
Now, Griffin's production the season before last
was good.
Right. Was it? I mean, he caught some balls in the key places, but I don't think he set the field afire. I think he did what any pro footballer should do. You're getting a ball thrown at you from 5 yards with no coverage. You've got to catch it.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of his play was. I don't think he didn't kill it. He didn't Kelsey it. I mean, freaking even Zach Ertz had more going about him, and he's practically done now. For me, Herndon's got this massive upside. If we got him back year one levels, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go Pro Bowl, because I think he's got that delivery in him, and we both know that given the San Fran system, they love a tight end that can block and catch. Herndon can do both of that.
I mean, if we're looking
be
at
surprised to see Griffin be a casualty of a cut. I just don't see what he brings, and he's old.
Yeah.
But then, kind of into the tight end as well, I want to kind of throw in fullback, because obviously on our team sheet we have Trevon Wesco. He's down as a tight end. I think we've all kind of had that discussion and said that we see him being able to play the fullback. I mean, his power is there. I mean, he blocks well.
So he reminds me of a person that I don't like to bring up just purely based on the circumstance around him. However, he reminds me an awful lot of Hernandez. He runs, he's powerful, he can catch. It's just getting him involved. I think Wesco was one of the biggest casualties for me of the Adam Gase offense. You have a player that's got versatility like I can't think of the fullback in San Francisco, I'm sorry. But he has that versatility, the run, the pass, the blocking, everything he has there. I think it's just getting him involved and knowing how to use him, and hopefully they bring that from San Fran. I know Fraser's really high on the fullback from San Fran, so he might be able to shed a bit more light on that as well, to be fair.
I mean, yeah, when you think about it, we're just getting over the second pandemic as a Jets fan. The first one was that virus that you've just mentioned, the man with the football knowledge of a stamp.
Yep.
And I think you're exactly right. Westcott came out with all of these abilities. He's like a Swiss Army knife in a backfield. And we used him as a brick wall.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we used him very, very poorly as a brick wall. I mean, he's 6'3" and 267 pound, and he can still move like a wide receiver.
Yeah, it's fast.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
putting Westcott behind him either side, and you've got Corey Davis and Mims on the outside.
yeah, I think with a set like that, using it like a second tight, it's going to be hard to cover. Very hard to cover.
Yeah. I think
I'm big on Westcott. I'm invested.
Sam, I don't know.
I think also though we're undervaluing how big a part Croft's going to play this year.
He was okay at the end.
As you were saying about Herndon and Westcott. I mean, we spoke about this. Obviously, it's like a Sam Darnold situation all over again. It's like, was it Herndon's fault last year? Was Westcott not getting used properly? I think what it comes down to with them is the difference with, say, Sam Darnold is if they're not getting the ball or they're not getting the right schemes and the right plays for their abilities, then they're going to be massively affected.
Yeah,
I think because we've got that many holes as well, all over the team, and how impossible it is to fill everything, that they're two easy options. That you look at Herndon and Westcott, who high upside compared to how much we're paying them. I think it's a no-brainer keeping both of them and starting both of them. An absolute no-brainer, and filling out other needs and give them that this next season to see how they fit. Especially Herndon, his upside could be massive this year, absolutely massive. As for Griffin, I think he's more. I don't mind him. I don't hate him. I don't. I'm somewhere in the middle. But I think as a red zone threat compared to Herndon, I feel like Griffin's the bigger, the stronger, the more powerful man who can get that separation, especially if we draft Zach Wilson. He's going to get that ball out really, really fast. To me, Griffin's the type of man who's going to be able to catch that one-on-one catch that maybe Herndon maybe wouldn't be able to. So it's going to be interesting to see how they use them. I look at them similar to the running back position. I think you'll see a lot of rotation there as well.
I agree with that statement.
I feel like that would be fine. Like I say, I'm very much like you, Frizz. I don't love or hate him. I hate the fact that he got hyped up so much. Yeah. And I think all of you have realised now, if you get hyped up, I tend to go down on you a little bit.
Yeah.
Which has happened quite a lot to me this year.
I think he was like a safety blanket for Sam Darnold 2 years ago. I mean, I watched him in Jacksonville and Miami, and it was just after the ghost thing, and they were playing on the tannoids, the Ghostbusters theme and everything in the stadiums to try and get to Sam. But I did notice, especially in the Jacksonville game, that Griffin was his favourite target. He was going for him all the time. And Griffin, I think he had 2 touchdowns that game, and maybe just the one. But I think it was Sam's safety blanket. So I think that's why all the fans jumped on it straight away and jumped on the hype for Griffin, because how much he was getting targeted, how much he was putting in, and how much he looked good with Sam, which was a similar situation to Sam's first year with Herndon. It's another position to watch. It's very interesting, but I'd agree it's probably similar to the running back spot right now, that position.
And
we've got a dire need, but we can get away with what we've got.
Yeah, and you appear to have left my hastily put question mark right till the end. I wonder why that might be.
So, because we're on a time limit, guys, I figured we'd just miss that position out, because on the next video, that's going to be the biggest talking point.
Yeah.
We all know that that question mark has a name.
Yeah, I think Mac Jones is the pick there, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We're all in. We're all in. Yeah, we'll move on to the defensive side of the ball. So a few